Espero que funcione bien.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can see you. You have to see Santiago. This is here. These are all technicians.
Hello.
Technician.
Hello,
Can you see
Bruce.
us? This is Santiago, Isabel, and now I think you know me. Well, I have to present you. So, there is something I have to say. You come from Adelaide.
I am about sixth generation, but that you know, and some people are longer in Sydney and in Tasmania, but nowhere very long. You know.
Hello, Bruce. This is a real honor, a real pleasure to speak to you and to get to know you a little bit more. Where were your parents from? Mm-hmm. Your parents were from Australia already, or they were English coming, or?
I am a mongrel Australian. Mixed ethnicity Australia, mostly from the British Isles. I had one great-grandparent born in Western Australia, but I am English, Scottish, Irish and Spanish.
Oh?
Oh, that's a surprise. Very good.
¿Hablas español?
Sorry.
I tried it.
I'm a lazy member of the Anglosphere. I speak only English and Australian, mate.
Cheers.
So you say that when you were a child, you had a dysgraphic
condition. I still have.
Condition. You still have it, and
I have learned to drive it. My drawing was always expressive, more than deeply representational, if you know what I mean. I mean, I have friends who are so-called visual, and they can see the world. You know, they can see the world with an icy clarity and put it down on paper or on canvas. You know, I just don't have that gift. That's not what I can do. That's awesome. I mean, I like you probably. I was taught traditional life drawing. I found it very, very difficult. I think it was the only thread. Art was the only thread that held. You know, when my life went to pieces, there was still that thread. That was that thread still holds. I mean, I'm an old man, and I still paint. All painting is cave painting. The technology of painting, as it's applied now, is not hugely different from what
the people in the cave
was done on the walls of caves in Spain and France.
Altamira, France, exactly.
And at the same time here in Australia, by Aboriginals.
Exact.
They were also painting walls and caves here. You realise that quality is no new thing.
You have done ink works.
Those are type works with a mapping pen. They're very slow. That's very slow.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I always begin with a gesture. I always begin with that.
Yes, but I've seen
But
you...
then I can go to this.
Yes.
Fiddle, 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 fiddle.
that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
But began with a gesture. It always begins with a gesture.
Yes, and do you normally work on canvas? Don't you? Or
I sometimes work on paper for years. I slip into one form or another. I have been working on paper for years. Since my exhibition in 2013, I went back onto paper and mixed. I could even go and grab some drawings if you wanted me to, but some mixed media pieces. I was avoiding using the mediums. I was just rubbing the oil onto the canvas, or sometimes adding just linseed oil, which has no nasty fumes. But of course, if you use just linseed oil, it
does
takes
not dry.
forever to dry. At the moment, I'm starting with charcoal.
Oh, yeah.
And fixing the charcoal onto the surface onto the linen with acrylic medium, and then working them with acrylic. That's the technique of the moment, and I'm sort of doing a series that I have done. Stay there a minute.
Oh my God.
This is south of centre.
Yeah.
I have beginning with charcoal.
Yeah.
And then adding acrylic.
Is the acrylic diluted, or is it thick as it comes out from the pot? Almost nothing.
Perhaps slightly damp the brush. No mediums, nothing.
No mediums, nothing.
I may later become, I see wilder pictures there in the book. When I finish this series, I may go wild with the acrylic. Rather than go back to oils, I may start experimenting with the acrylic in a wild way, and then I will probably use mediums.
Okay.
Like the spread of medium, or I don't know. Right now, it's very tight. The use of the paint is, as you can see, the work's gestural, but the paint application is very tight.
The painting you've shown us, there are two paintings really impressed me. One is Mind Block.
Ah, yes.
And the other one is Mind Movies.
Yeah, and that painting, it's very mixed media, but and it developed after a long time of experimenting, and I was just so knocked out by it, so I was in awe of it. I felt like it was the painting I'd always wanted to paint. And for a while after that, I couldn't paint anything I really liked. I thought everything I did was inferior. And so I struggled for a long time, and mind block, I suppose. My mind moves, I hope, was my mind moving again. In actual fact, I later decided I didn't like it very much, and because it still didn't quite live up to my hero, the wild and delicate. But now, I've brought it back out again many years later, and I see it with different eyes, and now I'm very proud of it. I think it's a good picture. My daughter who is a very intelligent woman of taste, wants Mind Block. She wants to own it, and I will give it to her, of course. But she lives in Adelaide, and I haven't got around to posting it to her or to sending it to her yet. But she wants it, and that's a good endorsement. She's a tough critic, because for artists, if I go out a lot and listen to other people being creative, playing musical, much as I love music, but if I go out and listen to jazz or country rock or whatever, no matter how brilliant, I end up getting irritated. I can love it, don't get me wrong, I can love it, I can be transported, but do it too much. Go to lots of galleries look at other people doing wonderful things, you know. In the end, I just get irritated because I want to be the creator.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be the consumer. I guess they have the glory, if you like.
Yeah, you see them, they applause, and we work alone in a workplace, and nobody is there to applause.
Exactly.
It's unfair.
Once every few years we put up an exhibition,
And we have to be well dressed.
We finally get one night of applause.
Yes, and we have to say yes and yes and yes to everybody.
But what I'm saying is, look, all artists, jazz players, blues players, painters, poets, all artists are people who have to make, who have to create. And that's where we're different from this person. Mm-hmm. And I'm not being disrespectful of her. She's a highly intelligent, etc. person, but she's not an artist.
Mm.
What do you feel about the future? How do you see the future of painting?
Paint, as have you, Sandy Argo. You say that you're one of the last gallery people who still really cares about painting, for which I think you're wonderful. But painting has gone through many stages of being under threat. I come from Adelaide, as you know, and Adelaide, an isolated city of over 1 million people, an idea can catch hold there and take over, and the art intellectual scene there got taken over by several things along the way, including hard edge painting, minimal abstraction, to a point where if you weren't hard edged, you weren't a proper painter at all. And I was soft edged then, of course. but also the whole post-object thing, the notion that an idea is more important than an object.
Yeah, I've been through this.
So if I paint stripes in an alleyway and sit there for days and take dozens of photographs of the changing light in that alleyway and the leaves blowing everywhere, etc., and then I put all those bad photographs together, then that is a great idea, and everybody should applaud me. And silly painters who just make objects, you can't really take them seriously, can you? In Adelaide was a bad place at times to be a painter.
In all the world?
The bigger Australian cities, like Sydney and Melbourne, were big enough that they could have their hard edge scene or their post-object scene, but their painting scene had enough critical mass that they could ignore them, and they could get on with their thing with quite a lot of support. In a smaller city like Adelaide, that's harder to do. Yeah, that all the movers and shakers are telling you that painting's not it anymore. We're old-fashioned people who like objects. We like beautiful, exciting, dangerous objects.
Definitely, yes.
Exact.
And in the pub, you know the word pub?
Yes.
In the bar one night when Bruce had a few drinks, and so had he, we were having a discussion, and I said to him that I was more interested in painting than I was in ideas. And some months later, one of my former students had an exhibition of paintings in the local gallery, and I asked him what he thought. And he said, painting is boring.
Yeah.
But the lines are drawn. Yes, this is very interesting. You talk about digital art too.
And but you are seduced by emptiness. Just tell me something about it.
Interesting. I'm not sure that I'm good at emptiness. I tend to fill space, but I am philosophically interested in the idea, and I do strive to express the idea. But I guess the idea I get from Eastern art, from the art and philosophy of China and Japan in particular. What used to be called East Asia and probably still is from Europe. And Australians are starting to call it North Asia because that. But anyway, but Chinese Japanese culture, Taoism, Zen. Just look at a Chinese or a Japanese traditional brush painting.
Yeah.
Much of it is empty.
Yeah.
But it's loaded emptiness. They feel that emptiness absolutely. You know, it might just be bamboos.
Yeah.
And space.
Yeah.
And I admire this, and I'm inspired by this.
You speak about the Rig Veda.
Yes.
Is it a relationship with the Rig Veda and you travel to Thailand, yeah?
Not in particular. I've had the hymns. I have a little book of the hymns of the Rig Veda, a beautiful translation of about 12 of the hymns, I think.
Yes.
That I've had. The hymn that really speaks to me is the hymn of creation. I just like creation stories. You know, Genesis.
The Genesis, yeah, I realise now, yeah.
The first chapter of Genesis in particular, and for me, the King James Bible, the old Bible in Old English, you know, neither non being. Oh no, that's the Rig Veda. In the beginning, God created the heaven and earth, and the earth was without space, and the world was without shape and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God rode upon the waters or something. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. So, I've been attracted. It's funny, I mean, I rebelled against religion, but I have I was brought up in a very tough Protestant.
Yes, I've seen you just say it.
Against which I rebelled, but I'm always, well, I've just quoted a bit of Genesis, and I could equally quote Rig Veda. It's the same deep resonance, you know, the archetypal.
Exactly.
How interesting, you're in Spain and I'm in southwest Victoria.
That's it.
And it's as if you're down the street. Something you said earlier about Australia being Anglo-Saxon, Australia is no more Anglo-Saxon. The hardest thing we've done in this continent is try to communicate and reconcile to the original inhabitants, to the Aborigines. Yes, we will be with you, but not the Aborigines. You know, we came and said, you know, we'll have this.
Yeah.
We pushed them out, and we never understood them, and we still don't. And that's the big scar in the Australian soul, I think. You know, we get on very well. I mean, we have racists, of course, but we get on very well with Vietnamese and Thais and Spaniards and Italians and Greeks and, you know, all great. Wonderful multicultural Australia, but we haven't succeeded with the Aborigines.
Bruce, we have to say goodbye, more or less.
I've just had a lovely time. It's been very enjoyable to exchange ideas and I enjoy your enthusiasm. I enjoy both of you, your spirit of life and enthusiasm.
Thank you so much.
For what you're doing. This is wonderful. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Bruce. A pleasure.